So we got the muscle today. It's the deltoid, very recognizable, the nice shoulder cap that you see is like an upside down teardrop. So these pictures, not my favorite. So you have the head of the humerus here. You've got the humerus, the shaft of the humerus, the upper arm bone is what we're talking about there. Here's part of the scapula, and then here is the clavicle, or the shoulder, or the collarbone, excuse me. This is the anterior division of the deltoid. So this is going to be more in the front here. And then we have, it's connected to the collarbone itself, and then attaches to kind of like the upper division of the humerus, or the deltoid tuberosity, if you want to be technical about it. So that's part one. The medial, or the middle division, is just right there in the middle, hence the name. You can still see like the outline of the anterior here, just kind of orient yourself. So this is just right dead center, the deltoid there. And so again, this attaches into a different spot. So there's the acromion process here, so part of the shoulder blade, and then connects again down to that deltoid tuberosity. And then finally, we have the posterior division. So being the back part of the shoulder here, back part of the deltoid, that attaches to the part of the inferior margin of the spine of the scapula here, and again goes back down to the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus, so the upper arm bone. It is a small muscle, but very powerful. Just because the load is so far away from the point of insertion, that's what makes things so challenging. If we had loaded the load much closer to the shoulder, we can lift like a crazy amount more weight. It's insane. So that is the deltoid. So that nice shoulder cap there. So probably more familiar with the motions here. So like the anterior division, it helps lift up the front and also bring the arms in a little bit. There's a little bit of internal rotation that it helps with as well, like the upper arm is turning in. So the middle part, just straight up. So lateral raises is a big one for that one. And then finally the posterior shoulder, it helps pull that upper arm, like so if we pull it back a little bit, so it'll pull it back and has a little bit of external rotation in the upper arm as well. So these are very important for, one, looking nice, right? My deltoids are not very developed. They don't it's harder for me to develop mine. Some people have really nice ones. My best friend has like the best shoulders, and I've always been jealous of her with that. So you have the aesthetic, of course, but these are actually really functional muscles for the long haul. And so we don't really notice that we use our shoulders so much, these deltoids so much, until something happens to them, like they get injured, or you have like the muscle itself, or you have something like frozen shoulder. Awful. Frozen shoulder is just the worst. And I pity you very much if you have that. It's not a fun time. But the deltoids help lift those arms up, and then so this is really important for like putting things up on a shelf. Right, so like I have a lot of older ladies, and so being able to put plates up back into their cupboards is really important. If they don't have that strength, it's even harder to do. And then things like, sorry, I'm a lady, so I'm going to talk about lady things. Doing your hair, you know, like blow drying your hair, those are your deltoids supporting your arms. And it can get really tiring if you're not used to having that strength and that endurance in there. And then so for guys, you know, you guys especially, especially if you have a more manual job, then you're going to be using those shoulders all the time, picking things up, lifting it overhead. Of course, picking up children, right? Big stabilization there, especially if you're playing with them and that kind of thing. You need those shoulders, you need those deltoids in order to lift. They also have a big stabilizing component as well in your bigger lifts. So things like squats, your deadlifts, of course, chest press, the anterior really gets activated with that one. So your bigger lifts, they're stabilizing those arms as well. So don't be surprised if you're starting to lift heavy for the first time that those shoulders are really taking a brunt of the work as well. Things like farmer carry, so I live out in the country, so being able to carry like heavy weight out to the side, like buckets of feed, buckets of water, that's kind of a normal thing out here. You need the shoulders a little bit to kick that out to the side so you can walk freely instead of the buckets hitting the legs and things sloshing everywhere. So the deltoids actually help stabilize that out to the side as you're carrying things away. For other people, this might be groceries. You know, if you're a one tripper like me, I just like to carry all the groceries at once. Well, I need my deltoids to hold it away from my body a little bit so I can walk freely. So that is the first muscle of this shoulder series, is the deltoid.